I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for the past week. Something I was going to talk about a week ago, but it literally happens like a day after I posted a video saying I was going to take a break from this entire pressure situation. I figured I would give myself some time, like post a couple of videos before I end up like doing this because, I want to actually sit with my thoughts about it because, I was debating it. Should I really make this video? And here we are now because, man, you have pissed me off. Okay, all right, I want to talk about this because, for one, I think the initial response to what I had to say, which I will also elaborate on later in the video, was dumb and bullshit, but also because this entire subplot to the Ren and Zeal situation, I swear to God, is a psyop. Deflecting the fact that the revision document is not coming out. But, we're still waiting on it. A month and a week at this point. 5 weeks and still no revision document. So is it still coming out? I don't know. Ren's playing Apex Legends. We just got to wait and see. A lot of people don't think it is coming out, but I don't know, guys. We'll bet on, I'm betting on next week. But anyway, enough clowning around. Pun intended here, because the clown I'm talking about in this video. Let's actually talk about it, and let's get into what I had to say about it. I've made a couple posts about it. And why, Will, you exactly pissed me off. So I have read both of Will's initial documents that have come out. I will put them on screen now, and they will be linked into the description if you do want to go and check them out. But I read them to get more insight on the situation because Will was a figure that was present at RDC. Whenever you're looking at a situation that has so many different sides and angles, and when other people are involved, it is important to get their testimonies because their testimonies are not only important to getting a better picture at what happened, but also because their experiences, despite not being victims, also matter. And so, like Kat and also Will, which both have come out and posted official documents that are their statements on what has happened, I figured it would be important to read both of them. I have my humble opinion on both of their documents as I sit through and read every word of their document. So, I'm not here to talk about Kat. I'm here to only talk about the person who this video is titled after, Will. I think it's safe to say that the first document that Will made did more harm than good because not only did it not prove any innocence from Ren, but it only just backed Zeal's claim up because at the time it was mutual and to him it was mutual at the time, so it didn't really help anybody, at least in that regard. But then there was also, at the very end of the document, the whole Ren was going to get an ex-alcoholic drunk, which I'm sorry, what the fuck? There was also talk of some harassment inside of the document that Will had faced, and the proof that was given was pretty minimal. Nothing really stood out. It was just playful banter. And you think that would be all fine, and, that would be it, right? You got the document. It did more harm than good. Okay, at that point, walk away. And I think Will even deactivated their Twitter for a little bit afterwards. And then they doubled down. Now, this is where I had my problem, because not only was this second document just completely unnecessary, but it didn't prove anything else, because you were trying to explain in this document the harassment, quote-unquote, sexual harassment that you received for over a year. Now, I'm not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree, but looking at these screenshots, it's pretty safe to say that this is not sexual harassment. In fact, if you ever had a problem with these messages, I think if you said no, just like that one time whenever he asked if he could bench press you at RDC, he might, not send those messages anymore. Just like he said he wasn't going to do it because, I don't know, just a thought. Maybe he understands consent, but no, he's a villain. He doesn't understand anything. He's here for malice and he's here for murder. At least, according to most of the internet. And, you go and you look, right? And you go through this entire document. There's even an entire section in this document dedicated to specifically debunking his own document. Now, look, the first claim got me the hardest. The NDA versus a code of conduct. I'm sorry, bro. Come on, man. But the biggest issue that I had in this entire document was the fact that these screenshots were being labeled as sexual harassment. Now, the irony in all of this is that if you go on the same account that Will posted the document on, and you just take a trip down memory lane, go and keep scrolling past all those posts, you get to about March, right before the document was posted on March 30th, I think it was. And in that post, it shows the same kind of behavior being reciprocated from, oh, I wonder who. People became aware of this, and eventually when I caught wind of it, I made sure that everyone was going to know about this because, it's one thing to write an entire document. It's another thing to write an entire document, but not include critical information in it that may make you look a little bad. The post was quickly deleted because much like the person that they are trying to defend, they also exhibit similar behavioral patterns where they go and they delete things that they have posted that do make them look bad. Just a coincidence, nothing more. And, as time passed, there was the whole grooming shit that happens. I didn't really keep track of it. The original response that Will gave is now deleted, so I don't even know if it's still relevant. But a little bit later, as things settled down, things have finally decided to cool off. Will decided to make a Twitter post saying, hey, if you guys have any questions for me, like what my favorite color is, go ahead and shoot away. I'm available for questions. And I thought to myself, I said, okay, why not shoot my shot? I haven't been blocked yet. And I asked, why was this post deleted? I shockingly got a response, jumped out of my seat for joy, thinking, wow, we're finally addressing an elephant. I have a whole herd behind me. At least one is finally getting a home it deserves. And the response that was given was, it's an interaction between me and the guy who essentially ruined my entire life and harassed me. And then I was blocked. Surprised that didn't come sooner, but, here we are, what can we do? Now, look, I'm not too versed in how much money you were making or what your financial or at-home situation is, and I'm not here to judge you on that. That's your own personal stuff to deal with, and I'm being 100% serious when I say this. If you are in a situation of crisis, I do hope you get the help you deserve. However, this right here might be taking it a step too far. Let's stop with this bullshit that you were harassed, because clearly, judging off of a post that you even made, this behavior was reciprocated, and that, you may have not have shown every instance of it, but from this one instance alone, I can probably infer that there are other times where this has also been y'all have said the same thing. So yeah, I think it's a stretch to call it harassment, but to also ruin your entire life, bro, this guy didn't ruin your entire life. You could argue that the reason why Will's life was ruined was because Zeal single-handedly took them out of every paid position that they were in on every project that they were a part of on Roblox. And, that's even a claim that Will makes themselves. I have a hard time believing that just because there's nowhere inside of Ren's original document where Will is mentioned by name. It's the team. So where the fuck are you pulling this from that you were removed because of your affiliation with Pressure? To my knowledge, there were dozens of people affiliated with Pressure. So you somehow getting caught in the crossfire seems a little unlikely, but you make the claim and don't really provide evidence. So it's just kind of a bold claim to make, it kind of goes back into the whole thing, we're making claims without actually giving sufficient evidence. If you're going to write a document, you need to fucking provide that evidence. But we like cherry picking. We don't like including what makes us look any kind of guilty, and we want to make sure that this guy's the villain. I'm completely innocent, and I had nothing to do with this, guys. I'm so sorry. Will, you are not a victim. If anything, you're an opportunist. You're a snake. You're a backstabbing friend who would go out of their way to not defend the person whom they've been friends with, but instead turn their back at the moment things looked bad. For the most part, everything that you mentioned inside of your first document is what I agreed with. How you were not aware of anything that was happening behind the scenes, and you were just simply doing what you were being told. But to then stretch it and then double down on the fact that you were a victim and to rope yourself up in this whole harassment scenario, I'm sorry, it's just not fucking true. The deflecting and the victim card and all this is just so fucking annoying. You lack the basic accountability it takes for someone to just say, hey, you know what, maybe I was wrong. I would have rather of you defended what you did than rather try to turn it into some victim story like you were at any level, at any point in what Ren has had to go through. And you know what? You mentioned it. You even talked about it at the start of your document, that you are nowhere near that level of what Ren has had to experience or the trauma that she's had to face. But, to say that someone has ruined your entire life when all they've done is reciprocated the same back and forth behavior, wow, how fucking fake. But yeah, you pissed me off. So that's been my little rant. Thought I would share it. Thought I would express some of my anger on the platform that I have. Because man, oh man, I'm not gone. I'm just simply waiting. But yeah, that'll do it all for today's video. Thanks for watching. See ya.